Good morning, how are you doing? I just thought I'd just jump on before I got to work this morning and talk about the complexity behind the scenes. So I don't know whether you guys saw, I dropped a post on Saturday morning. Took my girlfriend to the Warner Brothers studios up in Watford for the Harry Potter production studios. And I'm going to admit something that's possibly going to make a lot of my clients maybe think a little less of me. Personally, I'm not a Harry Potter fan. My girlfriend's a massive Harry Potter fan. However, having gone to the studio and actually looked behind the scenes as to just how much work went into something like that has really opened up my eyes to actually how much work goes into some of these movies that we go in and spend 2 hours watching. The level of work and complexity in actually creating some of the scenes and the number of people that were behind that movie. So there were different groups of people in control of different areas. So you had people that were the animal trainers, you had the decorators, you had the CGI, you had the special effects. So even something as simple as the scenes where they were flying the broomsticks, all of those scenes weren't necessarily CGI. They actually built a robot so that they could do live scenes, live actions, and they played with the camera at certain angles and created the wind and stuff. So those things were actually done live with the actors, and then certain parts of it that they couldn't do live with the actors, they had like a CGI double that they could actually then produce up. But the level of complexity was absolutely astounding. And so for me, Harry Potter actually, even though I'm not necessarily a massive fan of the story, it's really, really opened my eyes. Now, the thing is that it has made me realize that a lot of the things that we have that are going on around us, we take for granted. So when we look at the complexity of certain people's businesses and their companies and how that maybe has an effect on our environment. So, we quite often think that something might seem expensive or overpriced or overrated, or, that shouldn't take that long. So say, for example, it's something as simple as ordering something from Amazon, the level of complexity, so the systems that things have to go through, the fact that it has to go through an email system that then goes to a delivery system that then gets picked up by a courier and sent to your house in less than a day is absolutely astounding. Now, it kind of highlighted for me that a lot of people coming into my office do the same thing with their body, and I don't think they realize, yes, okay, Harry Potter was really, really complex, and the making up of that movie was super complex. But actually, when we look at the complexity of our bodies, of healing, of health, there are, again, many teams that we have to almost recruit in order to make sure that our body is actually functioning properly. We have to make sure that we recruit an adequate diet. We have to make sure that we recruit adequate volumes of sleep. We have to make sure that we recruit good mental well-being. We have to make sure that our nerve system is functioning properly, our cardiovascular system, our muscle system, our skeletal system. All of these systems are all interacting with each other, and it's working in a super complex way. So Harry Potter, thank you for teaching me the lesson that to look beyond the simplicity and look beyond just the superficial, because every single one of those people would have had to, in the film, would have had to have had a person that did their costumes, their makeup. They had to do the CGIs. They had to build in the robots for every scene. Even something like the Gringotts Bank and how they actually created the marble. And so most of that was made with wallpaper and plastic beads. Yet it looked like $1 million. So we have to look at the complexity of things. Don't take things at superficial value. I apologize that I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but like I say, Harry Potter has actually taught me something this weekend to look beyond the simplicity and down into the levels of complexity when it comes to building something like a movie like Harry Potter. And we have to look at the same levels of complexity when we look at stuff like our health or even other businesses and how they're basically working. You have to look beyond that simplicity and maybe look a little bit further than what the superficial value is, and actually how difficult was it for someone to have created something like, again, the thing that I'm holding in my hand, the mobile phone, how complex a system and how many people would have spent time developing these things. And so there's a reason why there's such a high value on some of these things. We'll speak to you again in the clinic soon. You take care. Happy Monday, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Take care.